What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr Wargames, and today I am bringing you my local's first place SwordSoul profile. Now this has a little bit of added spice into it, which really caught a lot of people off guard and basically allowed me to win most of my games. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. With all of that out of the way, I'm just going to dive headfirst into profile, show you exactly what we've got, and then when we get to the spice, I'll show you everything you need to know in order to make it work for you. So we start off with triple incredible Ecclesia. This actually has more value in the deck than ever before when we get to the tech card later on. Triple Moyi, standard on this one, triple long one, and double tire. And then we've got triple Ashuna, again, just as important, if not more so in this version now as well. Double Vishuda, double Adhara, one Shafana, and of course the triple Ringo Worm. This card is mental. So good for this deck, it's unbelievable. And now, for the spice that makes this all work, Small World. That's right, Small World makes this go round. How does it work? Well, very, very simply. Ringo Worm is a dragon, level 2, 100 attack, and 1100 defense. None of its stats match any of the cards except for the fact that it's a light attribute. So Ecclesia is a bridge into it because it can go Ecclesia into Ashuna, into Ringo Worm. You can go the other way around. You can also bridge into some of your hand traps as well, and I'll explain that a little bit further. So one that you can bridge into is of course the Thunder Kaiju. Sadly, you can't use Jizukuru, the other kaiju, because believe it or not, its defense stats actually match the Ashuna, 26-26. So you're better off playing a card that you can get to. So the way that Small World really worked for me is going first. If I didn't see Ringo Worm, I had the ability to get to it. Going second, a lot of people weren't stopping this, especially with an empty board, because they were fearing gammas and everything else. They let it go through, and I was like, okay, cool. Get myself a kaiju the card that's giving me issues, and play. On top of that as well, the other hand traps are Ash Blossom and Draw on Lockbird. Now again, I know you're going to be like, how the hell do you get Draw on Lockbird? And don't say Adhara, because you can't use Adhara, because Adhara matches level and attack stats. What you can use, however, is Ecclesia, because Ecclesia is a spellcaster. So again, you can go from Ringo Worm to Ashuna to Ecclesia to get to a draw. A Ringo Worm to Ecclesia to get draw. You can go Ashuna to Ecclesia to get Droll. So you had direct access to probably one of the strongest hand traps of the format, and it means you didn't need to clog the deck down by playing unnecessary additional copies of Droll because you searched it when you wanted it. So the reason that Small World put in so much work is it basically allowed me to get a SwordSoul starter. It allowed me to get my insane brand new combo piece. It allowed me to get access to Ashuna if I needed it. It allowed me to get to the strongest hand trap of the current format at this moment in time. And it also allowed me to get to a board breaker in the form of the Kaiju. Now, obviously, if the deck could play stuff like Lava Golems or something equivalent, something like Ratio Mode, then you could probably go for something a little bit more consistent like that. Unfortunately, the deck can't do that because it really does need its normal summon. I did consider Small World at 3. This is now just a mess of cards, so I'm going to try and tidy this up. I did consider Small World at 3. I tried it out at 3. It was a little bit cloggy, and I was like, maybe 3's too much. So I went with 2. 2 put in a lot of work. I saw it when I wanted it. The issue is, because Small World burns for another card in your hand, so it's basically like, on its own, for SwordSoul, it's like a 3-card combo, because you need this, a card to reveal to get the card you need, and then off of the back of that, that card then needs to lead you into SwordSoul plays or something else. So you do always need that additional card. But the fact that this basically opened up all options to me, whether it be a SwordSoul starter, as I've mentioned before, Ringo Worm for combo extensions, Kaiju for a board breaker, or Droll for just an out-and-out lockout, it was insanely powerful. The other hand trap that we do play is Imperm. Obviously, no way to search this. However, if you wanted to add a bit more consistency to the deck and you could start utilising more spellcasters, you could start going for something like Veilers. You've also got Ghost Ogres as well. You do need to be careful because the Ghost Ogre stats do match Draw on Lockbird on the attack. So you can get to Draw on Lockbird that way as well. So yeah, you've got loads of options depending on what you wanted to put into. I've pushed the deck to a 42 card deck. Whether that's something I wanted or not, it was just, I was like, you know what? I can search the main cards I'm going to need for a deck like this. So let's see how it goes. The spells were all pretty straightforward and simple on this one. 3 emergence, 2 circle, 2 cycle. Entirely up to you, personal preference on those. 2 desires, 1 summit, 1 call by, and then I bumped blackout up to 2. Now this is one of the cards you could probably sacrifice in order to keep the card count down. The reason I went with 2 is there was a couple of times where I was like, you know what, I can actually extend even further if I just banish this off of Yugioh from the deck, spawn a token, that's my additional tuner, and I continue to sync up. So it came up a couple of times, and it was always nice because like if I hard opened one, which is kind of what I wanted to do, is I wanted to hard open one and then Yugioh banish the other one, spawn a token, then I still had the ability to blackout pop as well as continue to extend my plays even further. So that's pretty much it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck. We've, of course, again, pretty standard on this one. Nothing's really changed. Double Monk, 1 Shaman, 1 Horus. This actually put in a little bit more work now because I was, like, you couldn't always guarantee you were going to win the dice roll. And like I said, the chances are when you're making this, the non-tuner you're going to be using is going to be an effect monster. So you target another face-up card in the field and negates effect. So that was kind of nice because it was another way of going, right, okay, Kaiju, I've got rid of 1 issue. Ability to get into Horus. Horus can then attempt to negate something else and they try and destroy it, and even if they don't, you can then just bring out a level 4 and then sync up into a 10. Yazi, Baxia, Yugioh, again all pretty straightforward and simple on those ones. Followed by Berserker. Still went with the Shen Shen. Like, it was one of them ones where in the right matchup, so like Super Heavy Samurai or Pearly, in the right matchup, making this just caused so many issues for them. Like, it stopped them being able to even attempt to use scales. It stopped them being able to loop the Soul Piercer. It means that they lost their scale. It was just so good. And then, of course, you've got your Quinn, your Cheng, your Baron, and then Chaos Angel. Like, what more needs to be said about this card? This card's just busted broken for a deck like this. Absolutely insane. The chances are you're going to be making it to protect all of your synchros, and then that's just near mental as it is. So that's pretty much it. The side deck pretty much consisted of stuff like Evenlies. It consisted of just more board breakers. So Evenlies, back row hate, and Cosmic Cyclones. I did add additional hand traps into stuff like Karakoras. And it was just to kind of deal with certain matchups. Other than that, the deck performed incredibly well. I really did enjoy it. I thought it had a lot of power, and the small world like touch worked out a treat. Now, obviously, it was a little bit lucky because obviously, if you see small world, you're obviously going to be in a better position. But it's just more so the fact of if they didn't know what you were playing, or even if they did know what you were playing and you activate small world, a lot of people were like, yeah, I don't know what you're going to go to. Like, what could you possibly go to that's going to cause an issue? Especially in game 1, because then if I was go small world and then they went, yeah, all right, what are you going to go into? And I all of a sudden went, oh, yeah, here you go. I've gone into, like, I searched out Kaiju. At that point, like, bar them flipping a floodgate, there's nothing they can do. Like, the next play that's going to happen is I'm going to get rid of one of their boss monsters. So if I'm up against the towers, that's it, game over. Like, unless they're going to flip Master Restrict on me, and if they do, fair play, you're playing Master Restrict. But if they don't, that's it, it's game removed, and I'm good to keep rocking and rolling. Anyway, that's it for the profile. Short, sweet, simple, to the point. Did incredibly well. Really happy with this. I'll keep tweaking and changing a couple of things. I'll see how much more I want to be experimenting with the small world version going forward. It was just really nice to be able to get directly to, like I said, a board breaker, a combo starter, a combo extender, or just in general a floodgate hand trap. So, with all that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.